Weren't you here when it went down?
I just walked away for like 3 seconds. I just walked away, you know.
And I said, okay, and as I turned, it was all bad.
You know, I wish I'd have never left his side, you know.
That's craziness.
Everybody else think they know why. I heard the conversation. I know he did not kill him behind that conversation.
Because if we keeping it real, when you line somebody up, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
You didn't want to get that satisfaction because you knew you got him out of here.
And, you know, we felt like certain people didn't like that.
He got their heads up, he know.
Rapper Nipsey Hussle was shot. 2 others were hurt in a shooting here in LA. This is a live picture where you can see fans gathered outside a store owned by the artist. The shooting was reported around 3:20 p.m. That's LA time, so that's 6:20 time here in Atlanta in the Hyde Park section of the city of Los Angeles.
It's no secret that Herman Douglas, aka Cowboy, was one of the few people that the late Nipsey Hussle surrounded himself with. The shocking loss of Nip at the hands of Eric Holder devastated not only fans, but an entire community. Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge H. Clay Jack sentenced Eric Holder Jr. to 25 years to life in state prison for murdering Nip, and an additional 25 years to life based on a sentencing enhancement because he used a gun to murder Nip. Shitty Cuz must also serve an additional 10 years in prison for assault convictions for shooting 2 other men who were with Nip the day of his murder. Herman Douglas, aka Cowboy, was actually on the scene the day of Nip's murder. To go even further, Cowboy was standing with Nip when Eric Holder approached him before returning and killing him.
Weren't you here when it went down?
I just walked away for like 3 seconds. I just walked away, you know. I told bro to come in. I walked away for maybe like 3 seconds, you know, just to go put my food. By the time I put my food down, I heard the gunshots and ran out there. And Nipsey was breathing all the way till the ambulance picked him up because I was holding him. He was breathing the whole time. He was breathing. So.
During Nip's trial, Cowboy took the stand to testify about the events that had taken place the day of Nip's murder. After Eric Holder received his sentence, Cowboy rejoiced in the victory by singing Ray Charles's hit, The Road Jack, out loud in the courtroom. Although Cowboy had taken the stand on behalf of Nip, something deeper, darker, and sinister was brewing. It wouldn't be long before Cowboy would start to do interviews with 2 social media platforms. Meanwhile, the streets of South LA weren't feeling Cowboy at all. It's a known fact that Cowboy was next to Nipsey when Eric Holder approached him. What would blow the roof off the situation was, the entire time, Cowboy knew Eric Holder's energy when the conversation between he and Nip was had.
As I replay it, you know, I just replay it over and over, and I wish I could have done something differently. You know, I wish I'd have never left his side, you know.
Ironically, after Shitty Cuz left, Cowboy states he went to the break room to eat a hamburger, abandoning Nip. It is still a question in the hearts and minds of everyone today is, why didn't Cowboy alert anyone to what had just taken place between Eric Holder and Nip? Many were speculating that Cowboy was paid to leave Nip stranded as part of a plot to murder Nip. Most would agree with the streets that he could have said or done something to prevent Nip from being shot the day he was killed. Let's just say there's a reason that Blacc Sam and the rest of Nip's people no longer rocking with Cowboy.
Give us a status on how Blacc Sam is doing, if you can, please.
You know what? Nip was the glue, so you know, after Nip's passing, me and Sam haven't really been in contact too much. Like
immediately after Eric Holder shot and kicked Nip while he was down, all of a sudden Cowboy decides to run back outside.
Prosecutors are laying out their case against the man charged in the killing of Grammy Award-winning rapper Nipsey Hussle. During opening statements, they told the jury the shooting was premeditated, but as Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes explains, the defense attorney telling the court a different story.
Surveillance video making the biggest impact in the Nipsey Hussle murder case opening statements. The prosecution spending more than an hour walking jurors through the final moments of the rapper's life and playing security camera recordings showing who they say is this man, Eric Holder, Hussle in the parking lot of a strip mall in South LA back in March 2019.
He pulled out not one but two guns and he starts shooting.
The prosecutor says Holder was once considered a friend of Hussle's, but grew upset when Hussle, whose real name was Ermias Ashkadam, accused him of being a snitch that day. The prosecution says Holder talked with Hussle at the scene, left to eat lunch, then returned a few minutes later and opened fire.
Eric walking in between the two cars, looking at Nipsey and saying, "You're through." And Nipsey, after being shot, responding, "You got it."
Holder's defense not looking to clear him of wrongdoing. The public defender telling jurors Holder was the man in the videos pulling the trigger. But the plan appears to be to convince the jury the shooting was done in the heat of passion and not premeditated, which could result in a lifetime sentence.
He did not have time to cool off. The evidence will show that it was very soon after this accusation was made publicly against him that he was so enraged and triggered by this emotional response.
It was this series of events that will make the world question Cowboy's intentions. During interviews, Cowboy gave a vivid account of Eric Holder's energy before putting up on Nip. It was said that the day before Nip was killed, Eric dumped out in the hood with a pistol to confront some dudes on the set. This wouldn't work out too well for Eric, as it would lead to him being stomped out. Embarrassed and out for revenge, the very next day, Eric was circling the hood looking to retaliate against the dudes that had stomped him out. After not being able to find the dudes, Eric pulled up to the marathon. This is when it will all go down with Nip. To make matters even worse, before the tears could dry, after the passing of Nip, Cowboy was accused of selling unofficial Nipsey gear and memorabilia in the hood.
That shit was about to happen. Because as we could see, Cowboy wasn't even on point that day. You know what I'm saying? So people looking at Cowboy with the side eye. And not just only that. When Nip died, Cowboy went to selling all type of memorabilia and all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? In Nip's name. Right? Now, I hear Cowboy come on right.
Internet exploded with videos bashing Cowboy. One YouTube creator in particular that goes by the name TZBZ would upload every conflicting story Cowboy had given during different interviews in regard to the murder of Nip.
You got to figure out how to just keep pushing forward.
The resemblance is uncanny. The late rap entrepreneur Nipsey Hussle on the wall, and his older brother Samuel Ashkadam in person. Sam and I met recently, more than 3 years after I interviewed Nipsey, to reflect on the past and the road ahead.
Did you know at the time, Samuel, just what an impact that your brother had on people?
We knew the impact, but we didn't know how wide it was.
Murals of Nipsey have become a staple of Los Angeles. This one in Canoga Park, the backdrop for tomorrow's anticipated red carpet arrivals for a momentous occasion.
The grand opening for the Marathon Collective. It's a licensed marijuana shop. Just being able to open a legitimate shop, being able to see it through is good for the whole family.
Nipsey, born Ermias Ashkadam, was a self-described marijuana connoisseur. Growing pot and selling it funded recording endeavors that ultimately led to platinum records and Grammy Awards. But those early pot deals also led to a lot of trouble.
Marijuana, a lot of times people were going to jail. So once it started legitimizing, you know, it was a goal. We got to get into this legitimately.
Before that could happen, just 6 weeks after our 2019 interview, Nipsey was gunned down in front of his clothing store at Crenshaw and Slauson. Among the people most deeply affected, his business partner, confidant, and big brother, Sam.
How close were you?
Very close. Excuse me.
Sure. I can tell that you miss him a lot.
A lot of memories.
Samuel, the trial of Eric Holder is underway. Do you have any thoughts you want to share about that?
We don't really tap too much into that.
The family has decided to stay away from the courtroom as Nipsey's murder is laid bare in graphic detail.
I will say I got a lawyer just coming, kind of sending me the feedback so I can stay on top of what's happening day to day. And my mother, my grandmother, you know, will ask me questions or whatever, so I'll give them the feedback.
How is your family doing?
Family good, thank God. My niece getting big, my nephew's getting big. You know, their mother's doing good, so thank God, man.
Tell me about the biggest challenges of the last several years.
Missing bro, but just understanding that you got to just keep kind of moving forward for the family, for his kids, and just step by step, day by day.
As for finally being able to open the Marathon Collective,
we looked at it like the alcohol during Prohibition. It'll be something that the kids can look up to when they get older and know that this is something that their parents, you know, worked hard and established. This is something that Hussle wanted, that we wanted, and I'm just happy to be able to open it up.